What if you saw every single relationship you had as a massive success, as an incredible success instead of a failure, just because that relationship ended? If you saw every relationship you had, even the ones that have ended that you thought would last forever, that you told yourself that you hoped, wished, and dreamed would last forever, even those that have ended, what if you believed all of them were a massive success? Even the toxic relationships, wildly successful. In the beginning, you were falling in love and you were just telling yourself, oh, I'm going to be with this person forever. You were going through the love bombing phase and you were feeling so inundated with how incredible it felt to be loved like that. And you told yourself, this is the best thing. This is the best thing that have ever happened to me. We're going to be together forever. I see myself having a future with this person that lasts the rest of my life, that lasts all of my life. I'm so in love. I'm so head over heels. What if you told yourself and believed that those relationships, even after they quote unquote failed, were massively, wildly successful? Because they were, because they are. Because in and through them, you learned so much about you. In and through healing from the heartache and the emotional pain, you learned so much about you, about your ability, about your capacity, about the areas and spaces within you that needed tweaking, that needed strengthening, about the boundaries and the qualities that you admire that you will not live without. You were able to adjust and redefine and tune in to your standards, your beliefs, your boundaries. And through the failures, understand more about what it means to be a success in a relationship, about what is required, about what it takes, and allow yourself to really tune into those spaces within you that allow those areas to be weak and to leak, those energy leaks, the leaks in your boundaries, where you could hold a boundary one day, but on another day, on a different day, not so strong because I'm feeling a little bit different today. But our feelings aren't facts, and we get to learn that it's just a feeling that it was a failure. And if it's a feeling that it was a failure, it can also be a feeling that it was a success, that it showed us the areas within us that we need more growth. When we allow ourselves to step into that space and that capacity and take those areas within us that need fine tuning, that need adjusting, that need readjusting, that need shifting, then there's success. Because without those failures, we wouldn't have had those opportunities, those experiences to learn the lessons and to take from them, learn from them, grow from them, and apply them to our future relationships, apply them to our current relationships, and see where our own way of being that we were then, that we are now, and that we desire to be is and was. We would just be confused walking around still with the illusion of the identity that because that relationship failed, we are a failure. And that's what happens when we connect to and attach to the title and label of failure. And we look back at our past and we say, I have this number of failed relationships. There's a part of this energetic connection that we have that says, because I have those failed relationships, there's an ownership. I am a failure. I had a part in those relationships. If we can really look in and see all of my relationships have been and were successes because I learned from them. I see my part in them. I see the role that I played in them. And I see what's important to me. I see what matters to me. I see where my morals and my values and my standards and my boundaries lie. And I am able to take full and complete ownership of that. And that is a success. There's never failure in taking ownership for our part, ever. The failure is in not. The failure is in blaming others and saying it's others' responsibility to do that. So there's success in every relationship. And when we can see the failed relationships as successes because they have shown us the areas that we need to grow within, that's a success. If it meant after a failed relationship, I was able to go see someone, I was able to work through this. And had I not seen someone or worked through that, I wouldn't be where I am today, wouldn't be who I am today. So there's no such thing as a failed relationship. And if I can begin to see all of them as successes, I begin to see myself as a success. And that changes everything. But if I'm seeing that all my past relationships, the ones that I told myself and hoped and wished and dreamed and prayed would last forever because they were the one in that moment, we were madly in love, we were going to live together forever, and they ended, well, was that really the ending of the best of me because I gave it my best then? Just because you gave it your best then doesn't mean anything about you other than you gave it your best. And therefore you are your best. You are your best you. And your best you is not someone who connects with failure. Your best you is someone who's able to extract the learnings, the lessons, the opportunities for expansion, for growth, for continuation, and sees yourself as a success. Just because a relationship ended, one that you thought would never end, does not mean that it's a failure. And when you can begin to shift and pivot your mindset and the beliefs that support that mindset, you begin to see things differently, experience things differently, feel things differently, have different thoughts about things. And the most significant, important things are the things that you feel, think, say, and believe about yourself, because that's a part of how you show up. That's a part of how you experience life. That is a part of the things that you see in life. Do you see them as failures or do you see them as successes? And how you see your part and your role in them. And when you begin to see your part and your role as a successful, necessary, needed, important part, your life begins to completely shift and change. I have a number of quote unquote failed relationships, ones that I truly thought, I mean, back in beginning of junior high, I'd take my notebook and I'd write Sarah plus this person forever. And let me tell you, there were several notebooks with lots of different names on them. And there were marriages and there were relationships and there were fathers of children. Well, just one, but all of them I thought was the one. And if any of those I connected to me being a failure or the relationship failing and having anything to do with my identity, I'd still be living in that. And so many of us get caught in that trap where we're still living in that. The relationship failed and it was one that I'm so heartbroken over because I thought it would last forever. Think about it logically. What is one single relationship that lasts forever? Your experience of forever. The relationship with you have with your parents is not going to last forever, physically anyway, because they existed before you did. So it's not a forever. The moment that you physically come to an existence, it wasn't a forever because there's a time lap. They already had the experience of existing, so it doesn't last forever. And the only relationship that you really have that lasts forever is that physical relationship that you have with yourself. You're in your life forever, but no one else is in your life forever. When you're growing up, you have friendships that last for a little bit. You may have long lasting friendships that you've been friends with these people since kindergarten. But if in kindergarten you're 5 years old, you've had 5 years of existence without that relationship. If you've been in a marriage that's lasted 60 years, there was life before that marriage, however long that life was. So it wasn't your forever. So the relationship that lasts forever is the one that you physically have with yourself. So why not make that the most incredible one, the relationship you have with you, the thoughts, the feelings, the energies, the emotions, the way you see yourself, the things you think about yourself, the things that you believe about yourself. And if you're putting all your eggs in the basket of past failed relationships and beating yourself up because in your mind, in the beginning of that relationship, it was one that would last forever and it didn't, and you're saying it was a failed relationship, therefore I'm a failure, you're so far from the truth. You're so off. And it's getting back on the path. It's getting back into alignment with the truth about you, is that you are a success, that you are worthy, that you are good enough, even without any of those other relationships, merely and simply because you exist. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are deserving of love. You are a success just because you exist. Your life matters. Your breath matters. Your relationship with yourself matters. And when that's off, it's time to get it back on the right path, back on the right track, back on alignment with truth, that you're not a failure. And past relationships, however long they lasted, however they played out, don't define you. So, my 2 cents for the day: sending you so much love. When you're ready to transform and heal your own inner emotional wounds, change the stories that you've got about yourself because of things that you've been through, I'd love to connect with you. You can find out more at sarahpacaro.com. Until then, sending you all the love. Bye for now.